everybody, welcome back. This is Christina with Christy's Kitchen. This is Fine Dining Made Simple. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to make sirloin steak with a garlic herb butter, with smoked gouda fingerling potatoes, balsamic roasted Brussels sprouts, and macaroni and cheese. Of course, just for my boys. So, let's get started. Okay, so as you can see, again, I like to cook in a hot, organized mess. Got my garlic bread. It's got some Romano cheese over the top. This is ready to go in. My oven is already toasted up to 425. I've got water boiling. I'm going to set my bread off to the side. So the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, we're going to go ahead and get our pasta going. That way that can cook. One of the neat tricks that I absolutely love, if you really want to cut down on your dishes, take your cookie sheet, line it with aluminum foil, spray it with your non-stick cooking spray. I personally like to use coconut oil spray. That way, all you have to do is you just pull this off as long as you don't poke holes in it, let it cool down, and you can put it right back away. So these are my fingerling potatoes. They've been halved. And I'm just going to place them on my cookie sheet. Just in a nice single file, so to speak. Set that aside. We're just going to kind of set these like this. And I'm going to dry my hands here real quick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a nice little drizzle of olive oil, just a little bit. We're going to use garlic salt to go across the top of these. Okay, and then we're going to do a little bit of Himalayan pink salt. I forgot to bring my pink salt back over here. My husband likes to put it on all of his food. Okay, Himalayan pink salt. We're going to put these in our oven at 425 degrees. Actually, I stand corrected. I think I'm going to go ahead and add my Brussels sprouts to this as well. And all I've done with my Brussels sprouts is just halve them. These are nice and fresh. Yes, some of your leaves will fall off. That is okay. Just put everything on your pan. There we go. And we're going to make those potatoes move just a touch. That way we make sure we get all the Brussels sprouts on there. And I'm going to do a little bit of olive oil on my Brussels sprouts as well. Helps to tenderize and cook them. And a little bit of salt. Again, pink Himalayan. Okay, now I'm going to put these into the oven, 425 degrees, for about 18 to 22 minutes. I'm going to actually try and do my Brussels sprouts on the back side, that way they cook a little bit better. I'm going to set my timer over here for just a second. We're going to start them off at 20 minutes. Since it says 18 to 22, we'll start with 20. That way we kind of know where we stand. Always want to make sure you're stirring your pasta so it doesn't stick to the bottom, because you want it to cook thoroughly, not in clumps. That usually tends to work a little bit better. Okay, with my steaks, I've patted them dry. Some are thicker than others. Of course, my husband likes a thicker steak. I'm just going to use a little bit of salt right over the top. And then once I put them in the pan, I do a second layer of salt on technically the top of those. I'm going to set this back down here. That way you can see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Of course, as you can see, Salt gets everywhere. All right, we're gonna do a nice light drizzle, about 4.5 tablespoons of oil. You want enough to make sure that it doesn't stick. And remember, when your oil heats up, it's gonna pool quick, it'll move quick in your pan. That's one of the ways you know that it's hot. Another way that you can know it's hot is if you get a little bit of water on your fingers, you actually just splash it in there. If those water droplets dance, then your oil is ready to roll. I just like to start when it's cold with coating the whole bottom of my pan. Alright, there we go. And we'll let that sit here. We'll get that going here in just a second. We're going to check our pasta again. Okay, so our pasta's doing good. Alright, I'm going to turn this burner on so that we can go ahead and get started with our heating up the oil. Remember, medium-high heat, that way it gets good and warm, but it's not too hot to where you burn your steaks right off the bat. Our vegetables are doing really, really well. And our oil's starting to heat up here. All right, our oil is all nice and toasty up in there. We're going to go ahead and lay our steaks one at a time. Hear that sizzle? There we go, right in the middle. Here we go. Gonna let these cook. We're gonna turn that off real quick. I'm gonna jump off screen and drain my pasta. A few little pieces that are stuck on the bottom, and while that drains, I'm actually going to give my butter a head start in the melting department. And then while that gets a head start in melting, we're going to go ahead and salt the top of the steaks. Okay, we'll pull this right back over here. Set it down, and we're going to get our pasta out of the sink. Nice and drained, of course. Our butter, cheese, milk. I'm just going to mix this up all nice and so it's all nice and smooth. Alright, just like that. And we'll just set this this over here to the side. That way it's out of our way. Steak looks good. We're going to go ahead and flip it. Those roll, and we're just going to let those cook for a couple of minutes. As you can see, our steaks are looking nice. Let's get these rotated around one more time. Got a nice brown sear on that. We're going to get this end cap right here. First, I think. Sit there, do this. Alright. And we are looking at about 5 minutes for our potatoes. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our sauce that's going to go over those. Okay, I'm going to do medium-high heat here. Okay, so for our cheese sauce, we've got this going. We're going to add our water and our cream cheese. So once we get this good and going, then we're going to add our Gouda cheese to this. What you want to do is just mix this up so that you have a nice, smooth consistency. Ingredients all consolidated in here. Alright, we got this going at a boil. So now we're going to go ahead and add our Gouda in there. And all you want to do is just stir this around. Give it a chance to soften just a touch. And then you want to get it to where it's a nice creamy texture. Okay, so now we've let that kind of soften. Now all we're going to do is ooh, wow, that Gouda's got such a good smell. And as you can see, it's all nice and just about completely consolidated down. So we're going to go ahead and turn the burner off. I'm going to bring a hot pad back over here. And all we're going to do is we're going to pull it off right here. We're going to add our chives to this. You always want that extra zing when you eat your potatoes. Here we go. And that is our smoked Gouda sauce for our potatoes. We'll hang on to this. I'm going to set this right up here. Won't need this anymore. I'm actually going to need a spatula. Grab one of those and set it over here. Okay, our steaks are pretty well done. We're going to go ahead and turn that burner off as well. That way we make sure we have some space to do a few additional things. I'm going to set our plates here. I like to plate everybody's dinner one at a time. That way I can serve everybody as we go. We need a Got a spatula for this one. And need a spoon, and we're going to need a different spoon. There's our kitchen timer. Turn everything off. Go ahead and pull your hot foods out of the oven. And while I have the oven off, it's still toasty because it's 425 degrees. That's when I'm going to go ahead and put my bread in, because by the time it cools down, that'll be ready to roll out. Okay, so now all we do, this burner's a little toasty, so it's still cooking stuff, is we go ahead and we plate my father-in-law's plate first. That way he can eat in the comfort of his chair. Okay, so then we're going to get a nice size steak to put on this plate here. And on top of this steak, we're going to do a touch of our garlic herb butter. Some people in my house like it, some people don't. You want to pay attention to who likes what in your house as well. I need a second spoon to do a little bit of balsamic sauce. And you're just gonna, well, drizzle it if you can. Sometimes it just does not want to drizzle, I guess. There we go, a little bit on each one. Okay, we're going to do our smoked gouda with fresh chive. Just a nice little drizzle right across these potatoes. And then, of course, last but never least, you always want to make sure you have mac and cheese. The boys in my house, this is a #1 seller. And then I will put a small piece of garlic bread here in just a second, as soon as it's ready. A knife and a fork for the father-in-law. Our bread is still working, so I'll take that to him here in a minute. This is a full plate. That is fine dining. Mac and cheese here. And if anybody knows my husband, garlic bread is his thing. We're going to go ahead and give him 2 pieces. So this is how I feed my husband. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put that out of the way. We'll go ahead and do both my boys at the same time, and I'll do my plate last. Just a touch of adventure for one, and the other one I know happens to like it, so we'll go ahead and give him a few more. That way it leaves me with some. I don't know what my boys are going to think about the whole Gouda smoked, so we're just going to give them a few potatoes so they can try it, see if they like it. Even with picky eaters, you still want to get them to try something new. Okay, so I do a touch of my Gouda sauce over this one, a touch of Gouda sauce over this one. Okay, and we'll do our balsamic glaze, like that. He's going to get a lot of glaze on his. I don't know if he'll like that or not like it, approve or disapprove. I guess in the comment section we will see a reaction. Alright, then we do a little bit of our garlic herb butter on top of their steak. This one is my more adventurous kid, so we'll do a bigger blob for him, so to speak. Alright, then we do our mac and cheese, because of course with any growing boy, you want to give them mac and cheese. Calcium in the milk, good for their bones. And it's just a good filler, plus my teenager loves it. One. There's two. And then all we do is we add slices of bread. And there you go. Well, now that's fine dining made simple, don't you think? Thanks for watching. This is Christy's Kitchen, Fine Dining Made Simple. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell and the like button, and check out the information from this episode in the description below. I'll see you next time.